everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cord and the Kitchen. I'm your host, Cord, if you didn't know that already. So look, before we hop off into things, let me just explain to you. This lamb chop, of course, many of you, if you follow me on Instagram and you caught it live, I'm sure you heard the infamous story about lamb chops with being one of my worst days. But anyway, if you want to hear that story, let me know in the comments. Drop it in the comments below. I will maybe do that in another live here. But anyway, what we got today is a lamb chop dinner. And what I ran a poll on my Instagram, which if you don't follow already, you know, the link is in the description below. So it was between lamb chops or seafood mac. And when in doubt, just do both. Just do both, right? So what we're gonna do is a lamb chop dinner, and we got some seafood mac to go with. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop off into it. All right, so what we've done, we bring a pot of water to a rolling boil just like this. You want it to be like boiling, you feel me? So then from there, what we're gonna do is add in some seasoning. So got some Tony Chachere's light Creole seasoning. Always want to salt your water with something, just so it gives a little bit more pop, you know? So we're gonna add some in. You can always over salt your water, no problem. Then we got a 12-ounce pack of some large elbow noodles. Just drop that on in. Then add in just a little touch of some oil. That way your noodles don't stick together. I don't know about y'all, but this spatula is killing me. Like, well, but anyway, look, so what you're gonna do is boil your noodles for about 6 to 8 minutes at most, because we still want them to be slightly undercooked because they're gonna bake in the oven. And you don't want no mushy noodles if you cook them all the way done in the pot. Then also, after you finish cooking the noodles, make sure you drain the water out and then save about a cup of pasta water. And then because we ain't finna wash multiple dishes, once we get done draining those noodles out, we're gonna use the same pot to make our cheese sauce, or other people call it a roux. Same thing. So we're gonna get half a stick of butter, and then we're just gonna let that melt on down. All right, so this is on medium heat. Let that do its thing. And we're gonna backdoor it with a 1/4 cup of some white flour, just some regular flour. This roux is gonna go really quick. And we're also preheating the oven to 350 degrees. As that's melting down, so turn the heat down so that way your butter does not brown. We wanna keep this a little light bright, you know? A little light bright. And with the heavy cream, I'm gonna go ahead and dump in a pint worth. So I have a quart, which would just be half of that. Make sure you remember to keep on whisking, all right? So you don't want that butter to get all brown or anything like that. So keep on whisking, and then we'll move on to our next step. Now, what I personally do to pick up the flavor a little bit, this is just how I do it. I put in a little bit of minced garlic. So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons. Then add in a nice hefty handful of some Swiss and Gruyere cheese. Remember to save some because we're gonna use some to top over our mac when we place this in the oven. Also, grab some Italian cheese blend. Now, here's the thing. If you decide to shred or grate your own cheese, it does actually melt a little bit better. But if you don't have a food processor, sometimes that takes a little bit of time. And time is of the essence, you feel me? So we're gonna take this route. It's already shredded. And then also we're gonna grab a nice handful of some Gouda. All right, that's nice and thick. Go ahead and whisk that around real quick. Oh, sheesh. That's getting thick. That's getting thick. Now we got to season up our roux, right? So we got smoked paprika. That'll go really nicely with the Gouda. So about a tablespoon. We get some garlic powder. Now, some people just do salt and pepper, but you know, I like to actually add a little bit of flavor off in my stuff, you feel me? So we're gonna do some Tonys, just a little bit. Now, adjust it to your liking. So we're gonna get that a nice little stir. Now you see how thick that is? My God. And we're gonna add in approximately about half a cup to a cup of some milk just to thin that out some. Then we're gonna get half a cup of some whipped cream cheese. Then we're gonna get a hefty glob of some sour cream. So about a half a cup or a quarter cup to half a cup, just depending on how you like it. This is gonna give us a real nice consistency. Listen, because we family, I ain't gonna lie to you, I had to re-up on this and add a little bit more in there because look, that, yeah. We gotta be able to taste our food, you feel me? So, all right. Then you got that consistency right, everything's melted on down. Next, what I want you to do is grab your pasta noodles and then we're gonna add them into this pot with the roux and we're gonna stir it. Just make sure all the noodles have some roux on them. And then we're gonna dump these into a baking dish of your choice. Like I said, our oven is preheated to 350 degrees. All right, so once every noodle is good and covered, then what we're gonna do is empty this on into our baking dish. You can turn the heat off because you don't wanna end up cooking the noodles more. Very important. Unless you want some limpy noodles, that's your business. So let's go ahead and come on over and pour this in. So we get our cooked crawfish, we're just gonna place that all in and stir that around. Want to make sure that the crawfish is, you know, all throughout this, and then we'll put our lobster tails in last. Oh, that sound, ooh, that's how you know this thing finna be busting. Like, stay tuned, don't go nowhere, you feel me? So what we're gonna do is cover this up with some foil. Then you're gonna set this in your oven at 350 degrees to cook for about 30 minutes. All right, so let's carve up a lobster tail, shall we? So all you're gonna do is get some kitchen shears and just cut at the top of the shell. In the center, cut all the way back or almost all the way. Once you get right there, stop. So if you get your finger, slide it underneath, okay? And then all you're gonna do is just push up. Just continue to push up and everything else will loosen up around the sides. And, oh yeah, before I forget, yeah, just open this up slightly. Don't break the shell, because that's gonna be part of how we, you know, present it. So what we're gonna use is garlic and herb seasoning, literally all you need. So this is also comparable to like your Mrs. Dash, you know, your low to no sodium seasonings. There we go. Now all we're gonna do is once the mac is done on the first round, we're gonna go ahead and add these on top, or you can add it in, and that's gonna make a real just nice presentation. You know what I mean? It's gonna look nice visually, you feel me? So, all right. First round's completed. So now all we gotta do is garnish this with our cheese and add in our lobster tails. So what we did is just use the same cheeses that we put in the first round, just topped it on top because it's gonna brown once we add everything else in. So you throw some smoked paprika on top, or you can get regular paprika. Y'all know how I feel about regular versus smoked. Smoked just gives you a little bit of more flavor, but also this has a little bit more cost too. So just keep that in mind. Gonna cement this in. So we're just gonna plant that in whichever way you see fit. It really doesn't matter. So we're gonna put this back in the oven to bake at 400 degrees for about another 20 minutes because we gotta let these lobster tails cook. With these lamb chops here, what you wanna do is make sure you trim the excess fat because a lot of times there's a lot of fat that's on the side. You wanna trim it as close to the meat as possible. So that way you're eating meat and not fat meat. But you know, if you wanna leave it on there, that's up to you. Really don't too much matter. Then next, go ahead and season your lamb chops up with these spices here and we'll get ready to put them in our pan. So here we have one of the easiest steps, which is why I kind of just fast forwarded to it. But what it is, you're gonna get a skillet smoking hot and line it with a little bit of olive oil or oil of your choice. And then from there, you're just gonna go ahead and cook it on medium heat for about 3 to 4 minutes each side. If you want it more done, do 5 at most. But after that, turn it off and then you're ready. Beautiful thing about these green beans. Y'all, listen, it only take 3 minutes. Steams in the bag, 3 minutes. And it's done. Then season it how you like. And then we're gonna plate everything up and eat, y'all. Let's get it. God, oh, I forgot. We on YouTube. We can't be cussing like that. But man, that's a plate right there. Do you see that? Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. Tag me if you make it. And I love y'all. I'll catch you on the next episode.